Greetings everyone, this is Professor Theo Williams and this is a brief commentary over form number 2. The question I asked you this particular week was, why is it important to have a knowledge of history, economics, social science, anthropology, politics, and communication in understanding the layers of intercultural communication? Some of you talked about the fact that it was important for us to recognize that all of these disciplines, all these areas and factors were interconnected, and how it would be incomplete, so to speak, for us to only look at intercultural communication from a communication standpoint, or to look at it in a way that we ignore the role that history plays, or the role that economics play, or the role that politics play. All these things play a unique role when it comes to our cultural identities. For example, as an African American male in America, we have a history that influences how I'm viewed, and it influences how I may view others. And those influences also have ramifications that are economic, that are political, and things of that nature. And so it is incomplete, to say the least, when we only look at intercultural relationships and communication from one standpoint. Some of you talked about how this wide range of viewpoints and these wide range of disciplines such as history and politics, how they allow us to have both an inside and outside perspective on intercultural communication. So we're not just looking at a person's identity, we're not just looking at a person's culture in terms of their race and ethnicity and things of that nature, but we're also looking at it from an outside standpoint. What does history say? How does history play into this? How does politics play into this? How does economics play into this? What is anthropology, which is our understanding of human beings? How does this inform what we know about each other? Several of you point out how history is important. Knowing our history is important to have a better understanding of our present and a better understanding of what we can expect in the future. And so and I'm a firm believer in this, that if you don't know where you've come from, if you don't know what you've been through and things of that nature, then it is very difficult for one to then understand their current situation. Because we're only looking at this current situation from the now, from the end result, from the current product. But we have to be able to also understand the process. How did we get here? What makes this person who they are? Not just who they are now, but who were they before? What was their upbringing? What were the things that they were exposed to? What were their experiences? How have their decisions influenced who they are, culturally speaking? How have they been influenced by things that are externally and outside their own control, like maybe possibly politics and things of that nature? And so all these factors are important. So I do agree that history is very important to a better understanding of our present. Some of you talked about and you stressed out how each of these factors play a unique role in shaping who we are. And that is true. We are not just individuals made up of singular experiences or made up of singular ideas or singular identities. We are very multifaceted. Our lives are multifaceted. Our cultures are multifaceted. And so it only makes sense that we relate to each other from that standpoint. And so I love being in communication. I'm finishing up my doctoral work right now in communication. And one thing I really love about the field of communication is that it is made up of so many other disciplines. Our field has been informed by politics, it's been informed by sociology, it's been informed by psychology and anthropology. Because when you're talking about communication amongst human beings, you can't just look at the words that we speak and the words that we write in our body language. We got to also look at the context, look at what develops the content and all those things. So our experiences are important. Who we are biologically speaking, who we are as far as gender and race and ethnicity and religion, all those things play a role in how we communicate. What we're able to get accomplished in life, our strengths, our weaknesses, the things that we have going for us from the inside, the things that we have going for us from the outside, as well as the things that may impede our progress internally and those that impede our progress on the outside. All those factors play a role in how we communicate. And thus, when it comes to intercultural communication, it's very similar. That we can't just look at what's being said, who's saying it, how we interact. We must also take into context all these other things that maybe we never thought about that impacts this individual. And finally, you talked about how it's important that we utilize all these factors to have a better understanding of how to view ourselves, because of how we view ourselves, culturally speaking, is going to impact how we view others. And this is very true. And so when we think about those layers, when we talk about starting at this individual layer, who do I see myself as? How do I value myself? How do I sometimes devalue myself? All those things are going to influence how I value or devalue other people. If I have a sense of who I am, and I can stand firm and be confident in who I am, it's going to allow me to be confident in seeing others who also may have strong suits also, without me being intimidated by those things. But if I am one who's not as confident in myself and maybe have low self-esteem because of how I've been beat down culturally speaking, it's going to make me intimidated by other cultures. It may make me want to downplay the positives of another culture in order to make myself feel better. And so it is very important that we see ourselves in a healthy manner, because it's going to allow us to see others in a healthy manner also. And so these are just a few of my thoughts in regards to this particular discussion. I thank you all for participating. I read through most of all of your discussions. Didn't read all the feedback you got from your classmates, but I did try to read your initial responses. I thought they were well thought out and well formulated. And I do appreciate some of the feedback that you gave each other, not just co-signing or piggybacking, but some of you also maybe had slight disagreements or added to things. And I think that's very important that we have that healthy dialogue. All right, thank you once again. This has been Professor Theo Williams with a Form Number 2 commentary. I look forward to reading your papers, which are going to be due on this Saturday. So continue to work on those, and I hope you're having a blessed week. Take care and God bless.